Captain Tae-jin stood at the observation deck of Aegis Prime, staring at the blue marble that was Earth. 300 years had passed since humans first met aliens. 300 years of waiting. 300 years of hope. And today, that hope died. The message had arrived an hour ago from the Galactic Council. The vote was final. Earth would remain in quarantine. Humans could not leave their solar system. They could not join the greater galaxy. The reason was simple and cruel. Humans were too violent, too dangerous, too unpredictable. Tae-jin clenched his fists. Behind him, his second-in-command, Hye-jin, approached quietly. She was young but sharp, one of the best tactical officers in the fleet. Her face was pale as she handed him a datapad. Sir, riots have started in New Seoul, Tokyo, and Sao Paulo. The news is spreading fast. People are angry. Tae-jin took the pad but did not look at it. He had expected this. For 3 centuries, humanity had played by the rules. They had stopped wars among themselves. They had cleaned their planet. They had developed technology carefully, always asking permission, always following the Council's guidelines. And for what? To be told they were not good enough. How many dead? He asked. 12 so far. Police are trying to control the crowds, but it's getting worse. Tae-jin nodded slowly. He understood the anger. He felt it too, burning in his chest like a furnace. But anger without direction was useless. It would only prove the Council right. Get Admiral Dong-soo on the line. Priority channel. Hye-jin hesitated. Sir, the Admiral is in an emergency meeting with the World Council. They said no interruptions. Tell them Captain Tae-jin needs to speak with him. Tell them it's about Project Horizon. Her eyes widened. Project Horizon was classified at the highest level. Only a handful of people even knew it existed. She nodded and hurried away. Tae-jin turned back to the window. Somewhere down on Earth, in a hidden facility beneath the Luna shipyards, Dr. Yuna was working. She had been working for 5 years on something the Council would never approve. Something that would change everything. The communication panel beeped. Admiral Dong-soo's weathered face appeared on the screen. He looked tired, older than his 60 years. The rejection had hit him hard too. Tae-jin, I assume you've heard. Yes, sir. I have a question. What are our orders? Dong-soo was quiet for a moment. Behind him, Tae-jin could see other officials arguing in the background. The Admiral moved to a private room and closed the door. Officially, we continue as normal. We maintain our defenses. We stay in our system. We accept the Council's decision. He paused. Unofficially, I'm authorizing Project Horizon to move to final phase. Dr. Yuna will have everything she needs. Tae-jin felt his pulse quicken. Are we really doing this? They left us no choice. For 300 years, we've been good neighbors. We've been patient. We've been peaceful. And they still see us as animals in a cage. Dong-soo's voice hardened. If we're going to be trapped, we'll make sure we're not helpless. The Indomitable will fly, Captain. And when it does, the galaxy will see what humans can really do. The Indomitable. Even the name sent shivers down Tae-jin's spine. It was not just a ship. It was a statement. A promise. A warning. When do I leave for Luna? Tae-jin asked. Tomorrow. I'm assigning you as commanding officer. Hye-jin will come with you as executive officer. Start selecting your crew. Only the best. Only those who understand what we're building. Understood, sir. The Admiral's expression softened slightly. Tae-jin, this isn't revenge. This is survival. The galaxy doesn't want us, but the galaxy is dangerous. The Council may not see it yet, but there are threats out there. When those threats come, we need to be ready. Not just to defend Earth, but to defend ourselves anywhere we choose to go. The screen went dark. Tae-jin stood alone in the observation room, his mind racing. He thought about Dr. Yuna, brilliant and obsessive, who had poured her life into designing the Indomitable. He thought about the thousands of engineers, scientists, and military personnel who had worked in secret, building something unprecedented. Hye-jin returned. Sir, I heard. We're really going to Luna? We are. Start compiling crew lists. I want pilots, engineers, Marines, medical staff. Everyone who's willing to risk everything. Risk everything for what, sir? Tae-jin looked at her. She deserved honesty. For the chance to prove them wrong. For the chance to show the galaxy that humans aren't just violent. We're brave. We're capable. And we're not going to sit in this cage forever. She smiled, and it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had been pushed too far. I know just the people, sir. Over the next week, Tae-jin traveled across Earth and its colonies. He met with the crew candidates personally. Each one understood the stakes. Each one had felt the sting of rejection. Each one was ready to do something about it. He met Pilot Hyunwoo, a cocky young fighter ace who could fly anything with engines. He met Commander Sora, a Marine who had trained her entire life for battles she was never allowed to fight. He met Engineer Ki-wan, who spoke about the indomitable the way poets spoke about love. He met Medical Officer Yunbi, who believed humans had a duty to help others, even if others did not want their help. On Luna, Dr. Yuna showed him the ship for the first time. It hung in the construction bay, enormous and brutal. Where alien ships were sleek and curved, the Indomitable was angular and armored. Where alien ships relied on energy shields, the Indomitable had layers of composite armor. Where alien ships used plasma weapons, the Indomitable carried railguns that could punch through a moon. "It's beautiful," Tae-jin whispered. Yuna laughed bitterly. "It's a monster. It's everything the Council feared we would build. But it's also the only thing that will keep us alive if things go wrong. When will it be ready? 6 months. Maybe less if we push." She looked at him seriously. "Tae-jin, once this ship flies, there's no going back. The Council will know we defied them. They might see it as an act of war. Then we'll make sure it's worth it." As Tae-jin returned to his temporary quarters that night, he received a message on a secure channel. It was intercepted alien communication, decoded by intelligence officers who were not supposed to be listening. The message was from the outer rim of the galaxy, from territories beyond the Council's control. It spoke of an invasion, of an empire called the Kresh, of colonies burning and civilizations falling. The Council was losing a war they had not told humanity about. Tae-jin sat in the darkness, the weight of decisions pressing on his shoulders. The galaxy had abandoned Earth, but somewhere out there people were dying, people who had done nothing wrong except be in the path of something terrible. He thought about the Indomitable, nearly complete, its weapons untested, its crew unproven. He thought about the Council's rejection, about humanity's isolation, about 300 years of being told to wait, and he made his decision. They would not wait anymore. 6 months passed like a storm. The Luna shipyards never slept. Day and night, thousands of workers moved like ants across the skeleton of the Indomitable, welding, wiring, testing, and building. Engineer Ki-wan barely left the construction bay. He slept in his office when he slept at all. Dark circles hung under his eyes, but they burned with purpose. Captain Tae-jin watched from the command deck as the final hull plates locked into place. The ship was massive, over 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that no human vessel had ever carried. It looked nothing like the elegant alien ships that occasionally passed through the solar system. The Indomitable was a fortress that could fly. It was ugly. It was powerful. It was human. "Final systems check complete," Hee-jin reported from her station. "All reactors online. Weapons systems operational. Gravity drive responds within acceptable parameters." "Acceptable?" Ki-wan's voice crackled over the comm. "It's perfect. This ship can outrun anything in the Council fleet. Maybe even outrun their scouts." Tae-jin smiled slightly. Ki-wan's pride in his creation was understandable. The Indomitable represented the best of human engineering. Every system had been designed from scratch, unbound by the Council's restrictive technology-sharing agreements. They had been forced to innovate alone. The result was something unique. Dr. Yuna entered the bridge carrying a data core carefully in both hands. It gleamed under the lights, pulsing with soft blue energy. "Captain, I'd like to introduce you to Athena." Tae-jin raised an eyebrow. "The AI core?" "Not just any AI. Athena can process tactical data faster than any Council computer system. She can run simulations, predict enemy movements, and coordinate weapons targeting across multiple systems simultaneously." Yuna's voice held a hint of pride. "The Council limits AI development because they're afraid of it." "We're not." "She?" Hyojin asked. "Athena chose her own designation," Yuna explained. "During initial testing, she demonstrated self-awareness beyond our expectations. Don't worry, she's fully aligned with human interests. Her core programming is protection and defense." A soft female voice emanated from the speakers. "Good morning, Captain Tae-jin. I am ready to serve." Tae-jin felt a chill. They had truly built something unprecedented. "Welcome aboard, Athena. Help us make this ship everything it needs to be." "I will, Captain." Over the following weeks, the crew assembled. Commander Sora arrived with 300 Marines, the toughest fighters Earth could produce. They trained in the ship's gravity chambers, preparing for boarding actions and ground assaults. Sora was a hard woman with sharp eyes and a reputation for never losing. Her soldiers would follow her into hell. Pilot Hyunwoo brought his fighter wing, 12 pilots flying the new Hawk-class interceptors. The fighters were small, fast, and deadly. Hyunwoo himself was insufferable, constantly boasting about his skills, but Tae-jin had watched him fly. The young pilot could make a ship dance like a leaf in the wind. Medical Officer Yoonbi set up the medical bay with quiet efficiency. She spoke little, but her competence was obvious. She had studied alien biology in secret, preparing for the day humans would encounter wounded aliens. Tae-jin appreciated her foresight. Ambassador Nari was the only civilian aboard. She was a diplomat, trained in first contact protocols that Earth had never been allowed to use. Her presence was Admiral Dong-su's idea. If the Indomitable encountered aliens, they needed someone who could talk before shooting. Nari was young for an ambassador, barely 30, but she spoke 17 Earth languages and had memorized every known alien culture's basic customs. "I still think this is insane," she told Tae-jin during their first meeting. "One ship cannot change the galaxy's opinion of us." "Maybe not," Tae-jin agreed. "But one ship can make them notice us." The first test flight happened on a cold morning. The Indomitable detached from Luna's docking clamps and drifted into open space. The crew held their breath as Ki-won initiated the gravity drive. Space twisted. The ship lurched forward, accelerating faster than anything human-made had ever moved. Stars stretched into lines. In seconds, they had crossed a distance that would take conventional ships hours. Hyunwoo whooped over the comm. "Now that's what I'm talking about." They ran through weapons tests next. The railguns fired solid projectiles at near light speed. The targeting computer, guided by Athena, achieved 98% accuracy against moving targets. The fusion missiles tracked perfectly. The point defense lasers swatted down practice drones with ease. "This ship," Heejin said quietly, "could take on a small fleet by itself." "Let's hope we never have to find out," Tae-jin replied, though he knew better. They were going to find out. It was only a matter of time. The intercepted alien communications kept coming. Intelligence officers decoded more messages from the outer rim. The situation was deteriorating. The Kresh Empire was advancing. Colonies were falling. The Galactic Council's fleets were retreating, unable to stop the invasion. Tae-jin brought the senior staff together in the conference room. He displayed the intelligence data on the central screen. "The Council is losing a war," he said simply. "They haven't asked for help because they don't think we can help. They still see us as children. So what do we do?" Sora asked. "Wait for them to come begging?" "No." Tae-jin zoomed in on one system. "This is Vela 9, a Thyrenian colony. Population 12 million. According to the latest intelligence, a Kresh fleet is 3 days away. The Council has issued an evacuation order, but they don't have enough ships. Most of those people will die." The room fell silent. Nari spoke first. "Captain, we have no authorization to leave the solar system. If we cross the quarantine line, the Council will consider it an act of aggression." "I know." "They could declare war on Earth," she pressed. "I know," Tae-jin repeated. "But 12 million people are going to die. The Council won't save them. We can?" Ki-won leaned back in his chair. "I didn't build this ship to watch it sit in dock while people burn." Yoonbi nodded. "We took oaths to help people. Those oaths didn't specify which people." Hyunwoo grinned. "I've been wanting to see what this ship can really do." Sora crossed her arms. "My Marines are ready. If we're breaking the quarantine, let's make it count." Heejin looked at Tae-jin. "Athena, what's your analysis?" The AI's voice was calm. "The probability of mission success is 73%. The probability of saving significant civilian lives is 91%. The probability of Council retaliation against Earth is 42%. However, the probability of humans earning respect through inaction is 0%. Tae-jin smiled. Even the AI understood what was at stake. Nari stood up. "I officially protest this decision. As Earth's diplomatic representative, I must state that this violates numerous treaties and agreements." She paused. "That said, I'll prepare first contact protocols for the Therenians. If we're going to save them, we should introduce ourselves properly." "Thank you, Ambassador." Tae-jin looked around the table. "We all know what this means. Once we leave the solar system, there's no going back. Earth will be exposed. The council will be angry. We might start something we can't finish. Or, Hyojin said softly, we might start something that should have started 300 years ago. Tae-jin contacted Admiral Dongsu on a secure channel. The admiral listened to the plan without interrupting. When Tae-jin finished, there was a long silence. You're absolutely sure about this? Yes, sir. Another pause. Then you have my authorization. Unofficial, of course. If this goes wrong, the World Council will deny everything. You'll be a rogue captain who stole a warship. I understand, sir. Tae-jin. Dongsu's voice softened. Make us proud. Show them what humans really are. We will, sir. The Indomitable left Luna orbit 3 hours later. The crew moved with quiet efficiency, each person focused on their tasks. As the ship approached the edge of the solar system, Tae-jin sat in the captain's chair looking at the view screen. Athena, plot a course to Vela 9, maximum speed. Course plotted, Captain. Jump in 30 seconds. Hyojin looked over at him. Any final words before we become outlaws? Tae-jin thought about Earth 300 years in isolation. He thought about the Council's rejection. He thought about 12 million Thyrenians who did not know help was coming. Let's show the galaxy who we really are. The Indomitable jumped. Space folded around them, and humanity's first warship cut through the void toward a distant world where people were about to die. The crew did not know if they would be heroes or criminals when they returned, but they knew they had to try. The Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Vela 9 system. What they saw made the entire bridge crew freeze. The planet was burning. 7 Kresh warships hung in orbit, massive organic-looking vessels that pulsed with a sickly green light. They were firing on the surface, turning cities into ash. Smaller Kresh fighters swarmed around them like insects, and fleeing from the carnage were dozens of civilian ships, desperate and undefended. Athena, give me a tactical readout. Tae-jin ordered, his voice tight. 7 Kresh heavy cruisers, 48 fighter craft. The cruisers are biological constructs, grown rather than built. Their weapons appear to be plasma-based, estimating 12 million life signs on the planet's surface, down from 18 million an hour ago. 6 million dead in 1 hour. Tae-jin felt rage build in his chest. Hyojin looked at her scanner. Captain, they haven't detected us yet. We're still at extreme range. We could retreat, report this to the council, let them handle it. Everyone on the bridge knew she had to say that. It was protocol, but no one believed it was a real option. The council isn't coming, Tae-jin said. We are the only help these people have. Athena, can we win? Affirmative. The Kresh vessels are larger but technologically inferior. Their organic armor is vulnerable to kinetic weapons. Our railguns will be highly effective. Probability of victory 87%. Then let's even the odds. Tae-jin opened a ship-wide channel. All hands battle stations. This is not a drill. We are engaging hostile forces. Commander Sora, prepare marine teams for planetary assault. Hyunwoo, launch all fighters. Ambassador Nari, prepare to contact any survivors on the surface. The ship transformed. Crews rushed to their stations. Weapons powered up. The fighter bay doors opened, and 12 Hawk interceptors screamed into space. The Indomitable's armor plating shifted into combat configuration. Target the nearest Kresh cruiser, Tae-jin ordered. Fire when ready, the railgun spoke. Solid metal slugs, accelerated to incredible speeds, crossed the void in seconds. They hit the Kresh ship with devastating force. The organic armor that protected against energy weapons shredded like paper. The cruiser shuddered, atmosphere venting from multiple breaches. Direct hit, Athena reported. Enemy vessel heavily damaged. The Kresh fleet reacted instantly. All 7 cruisers turned toward the Indomitable. Their plasma cannons charged, glowing green. Evasive maneuvers, Hyojin called out. The Indomitable rolled. Plasma bolts streaked past, missing by meters. Kiwon's voice came over the comm from engineering. The hull can take a few hits, but not many. Keep us moving. Tae-jin watched the tactical display. The Kresh were trying to surround them, using their numbers to overwhelm. It was a good strategy against council ships, but the Indomitable was not a council ship. Athena, firing solution on all targets. Rotate our broadside and unleash everything. Confirmed, Captain. The Indomitable turned, presenting its side to the enemy fleet. Every railgun fired simultaneously. 24 slugs crossed space. The damaged cruiser died first, torn apart by impacts. A second cruiser took multiple hits and began to break apart. The remaining 5 scattered, trying to avoid the deadly kinetic barrage. Hyunwoo's voice cut through the chaos. We've engaged enemy fighters. They're fast but fragile. Taking them down easy. On the view screen, Tae-jin could see the dogfight. The Hawk interceptors danced between Kresh fighters, their weapons flashing. Hyunwoo was right. The alien fighters were quick but poorly armored. Human missiles and railgun rounds shredded them. 3 cruisers down, Athena reported. 4 remaining. They are attempting to retreat toward the planet. Don't let them, Tae-jin snapped. Those are civilian targets they're running to. Cut them off. The Indomitable surged forward, gravity drive pushing it to speeds that should have torn a normal ship apart. They intercepted 2 cruisers before they could reach the planet. The railguns fired again. And again. Metal met flesh. Flesh lost. The last 2 Kresh cruisers tried to escape to open space. They never made it. Fusion missiles locked on, accelerating to pursuit speed. The explosions lit up space like small suns. Silence fell over the bridge. The battle had lasted less than 20 minutes. All enemy vessels destroyed, Athena confirmed. No human casualties. Minor hull damage to sections 4 and 7. Tae-jin let out a breath he had not known he was holding. They had won, but the battle was not over. Hee-jin scanned the planet. How many survivors? Still reading 12 million life signs, mostly concentrated in the southern hemisphere. The northern cities are gone. Her voice shook slightly. Captain, we need to get them off that planet. The Kresh bombardment has destabilized the ecosystem. I'm reading toxic levels of radiation and chemical fallout. Sora, this is your moment, Tae-jin said into the comm. Get your Marines down there. Evacuate as many as you can. On it, Captain. Launching drop pods now. Commander Sora and her 300 Marines loaded into armored drop pods. They launched from the Indomitable like falling stars, burning through the atmosphere toward the largest surviving city. The Therenians on the ground looked up at the sky, seeing help arrive in human form. The Marines established a perimeter around the evacuation zones. Sora coordinated with local authorities who were shocked to see humans. Most had never even heard of Earth. We're here to help, Sora told the Therenian elder Vec through a translator device. We have transport ships incoming. Gather your people. Vec was a tall being with silver skin and large black eyes. He looked at Sora with obvious fear. You are the violent species. The ones the council locked away? Yes, Sora said bluntly. We are, and right now we're the only ones here to save you. So are you coming or not? Vec looked at his burning world. He looked at the human Marine armed and armored. He looked at his terrified people. He made his choice. We will come. Over the next 6 hours, the Indomitable's transport shuttles made dozens of trips. Medical Officer Yoonbi worked nonstop in the medical bay, treating wounded Therenians alongside human medics. She discovered that Therenian biology was similar enough to human that most of her techniques worked. Ambassador Nari stood in the main cargo bay, which had been converted into a refugee center. Thousands of Therenians huddled together, traumatized and scared. She moved among them, offering comfort and reassurance. Her diplomatic training had not prepared her for this, but she did her best. Where will you take us? One young Therenian asked her. To the nearest council station, Nari promised. You'll be safe there. Why did you come? The council said humans were dangerous. Nari knelt down to the child's level. Because it was the right thing to do. That's what humans do. We help people who need help. On the bridge, Tae-jin received an urgent message. It was from the Galactic Council, transmitted on all frequencies. Attention Earth vessel Indomitable. You have violated quarantine protocols and engaged in unauthorized military action. You are ordered to stand down immediately and return to your solar system. Failure to comply will result in severe consequences. Hee-jin looked at Tae-jin. Captain? Tae-jin thought about the 12 million Therenians they were saving. He thought about the 6 million who had died. He thought about the Galactic Council, who had issued evacuation orders but sent no ships to help. He opened a return channel. His response was simple. Galactic Council, this is Captain Tae-jin of the Indomitable. You abandoned these people. You issued orders but provided no assistance. We came because someone had to. He paused. You locked us away for being violent. But you did nothing while millions died. Who is really dangerous? We will return to council space when these people are safe, not before. He closed the channel before they could respond. Elder Vec came to the bridge hours later, escorted by Sora. The Therenian looked around at the human technology with obvious wonder. He approached Tae-jin carefully. Captain, I wanted to thank you personally. You saved my people. We did what anyone should have done, Taejin replied. But the council did not do it. They warned us to evacuate but sent no ships. We would have died if you had not come. Vex's large eyes studied Taejin. The council told us humans were monsters, but you fought like warriors and saved like heroes. Which is true? Taejin considered the question. Maybe both. Maybe humans are capable of great violence, but we're also capable of great kindness. The council sees only our history of war. They don't see that we fight for things that matter. What matters to you? Vex asked. That people don't die when we can save them. Vex nodded slowly. Then perhaps the council has judged you wrongly. The Indomitable left Vela 9 orbit carrying 12,000 refugees. They could not save them all, but they had saved as many as their ship could hold. Other civilian vessels had evacuated more. Together they formed a convoy heading toward council space. As they traveled, word of what happened spread across the galaxy. The story was simple. Earth's ship had arrived where the council had not. Humans had fought when others fled. The violent species had saved millions. Taejin sat in his quarters that night, exhausted. Haijin brought him a report. We're receiving messages from all over the galaxy. Some are calling us heroes. Some are calling us vigilantes. The council is demanding we return immediately for trial. What do you think we should do? Taejin asked. Yijin smiled. I think we should find more people who need help. The council can wait. 3 months passed in fire and blood. The Indomitable became a ghost story among the Kresh and a legend among the suffering. The ship appeared where it was needed most, fought impossible battles, and disappeared before the council could catch them. Captain Taejin barely slept anymore. The command chair had become his home. Dark circles hung under his eyes, but his resolve never wavered. Each distress call they answered, each colony they saved, justified their choice. The galaxy was learning what humans could do when pushed. The second battle came at Meridian Station, a trading hub housing 5 million beings from 20 different species. The Kresh surrounded it with 12 warships demanding surrender. The council sent negotiators. The Indomitable sent railgun rounds. Hyunwoo had become an ace pilot, his fighter wing dancing through enemy formations. He had painted small Kresh ship symbols on his cockpit, 1 for each kill. There were 37 now. This is too easy. He laughed over the comm as his hawk blew apart another enemy fighter. Don't they learn? Stay focused, Hyejin warned from the bridge. We're outnumbered 6-1. Yeah, but we're humans, Hyunwoo replied. We do our best work outnumbered. The battle lasted 40 minutes. The Indomitable lost 2 fighters, both pilots ejecting safely. The Kresh lost everything. Meridian Station survived. The third battle was at Threshold Gate, a massive wormhole that connected 2 sectors of the galaxy. If the Kresh took it, they could bypass council defenses entirely. The council fleet had tried to hold it and failed. They retreated, abandoning the gate and the civilian stations around it. How long until the Kresh arrive? Taejin asked Athena. 6 hours, Captain. Enemy force consists of 24 heavy cruisers and at least 100 fighter craft. And how many ships does the council have in this sector? None, Captain. They have withdrawn to secondary defensive positions. Taejin looked at Hyejin. Opinions? We can't win this fight, she said honestly. Even with Athena's tactical support, those numbers will overwhelm us. We should evacuate the civilians and fall back. That's the smart choice, Taejin agreed. But if we leave, the Kresh control this gate. Thousands of worlds become vulnerable. Millions more will die. Then what do you suggest? Taejin studied the tactical map. We hold, for as long as we can. We buy time for the council to reinforce even if they don't deserve it. Commander Sora, can your Marines operate on those civilian stations? Sora's voice came through clearly. Yes, sir. We can turn them into defensive platforms. It won't be pretty, but it'll add firepower. Do it. Hyunwoo, I need your fighters to mine the approaches to the gate. Make them pay for every meter. Athena, calculate the best defensive position for maximum damage. Calculating, Captain. Optimal position identified. We should station ourselves directly at the gate's mouth. It will limit the enemy's ability to surround us. Dr. Yuna appeared on the bridge carrying a tablet. She looked exhausted but determined. Captain, I've been working on something. A weapon upgrade. It'll drain our reactors completely for about 10 minutes after firing, but it should take out at least 3 cruisers at once. Call it a sunbreaker, Kiwan's voice added from engineering. Because it hits like a small sun. I love it and I hate it. It might also crack our hull if we're not careful. How long to install it? Taejin asked. It's already installed, Yuna said. I've been working on it for weeks. I just needed the right moment to mention it. Taejin laughed despite the situation. You're all insane. Let's do this. The crash arrived exactly on schedule. 24 cruisers emerged from the darkness, their organic hulls pulsing with hostile intent. Fighters swarmed ahead of them, ready to overwhelm any defense. They found the Indomitable waiting. All ships, this is Captain Taejin. We hold this line. No retreat. No surrender. Make every shot count. The battle began. The Indomitable's railguns fired constantly, targeting prioritized by Athena's calculations. Funwu's fighters harassed the enemy, leading them into minefields. Sora's Marines operated improvised weapons platforms on the civilian stations, adding their fire to the defense. For 3 hours, they held. The crash came in waves, trying to break through. Ship after ship died, but more kept coming. The Indomitable took hit after hit. Hull breaches appeared. Crew members died. Medical Officer Unbi worked frantically in the medical bay, trying to save everyone she could. We can't sustain this, Hyejin reported. Her console was splashed with blood from a shrapnel wound on her arm, but she ignored it. Reactor 2 is failing. Hull integrity at 40%. We've lost 6 fighters. Athena, status on the Sunbreaker? Taejin asked. Ready to fire, Captain. However, I must warn you. After firing, we will be vulnerable for approximately 12 minutes. If the enemy has reserves, they will overwhelm us. They have reserves, Taejin said. But we're out of options. Charge the weapon. Target the center of their formation. The Indomitable's reactors screamed as power diverted to the new weapon. The ship vibrated, hull plates groaning under the stress. On the view screen, a brilliant light built at the ship's bow. Firing Sunbreaker. A beam of pure energy, contained gravity and fusion heat, lanced out. It hit the first crash cruiser and kept going. Through the second. Through the third. The beam cut through the enemy formation like a sword through water. 5 ships died in seconds, their organic matter vaporized. Then the Indomitable went dark. Reactors offline. Weapons silent, drifting in space like a dead thing. The remaining crash ships, shocked but still numerous, prepared to finish them. Taejin watched them approach on emergency power displays. This was it. They had done everything they could. Then space rippled. Ships appeared, dozens of them. Not crash, council ships, and at their head a familiar sight. Earth vessels. The rest of humanity's small fleet had arrived. Indomitable, this is Admiral Dongsu on the Dauntless. You've held long enough. We'll take it from here. The combined human and council fleet crashed into the crash like a hammer. The enemy, already bloodied by the Indomitable's defense, broke. They fled through the wormhole, leaving their dead behind. Taejin slumped in his chair as reactor power slowly returned. They had won, barely, but they had won. Hyejin laughed, tears streaming down her face. We did it. We actually did it. We lost 14 crew members, Taejin said quietly. 23 wounded. The ship is barely functional. But we held the line, Sora said, appearing on the bridge. Her armor was scorched and dented. Those civilian stations are still here. The gate is still ours. That counts for something. Admiral Dongsu came aboard once repairs were underway. He found Taejin on the observation deck, staring at the damaged hull. You should have retreated, the Admiral said. I know. You nearly died. Your entire crew nearly died. I know. Dongsu stood beside him. You also saved this sector. The Council's own tactical reports say if the crash had taken this gate, the war would be over. You bought them time to regroup. He paused. The Council is calling you a criminal. But every species you've saved is calling you something else. What's that? A hero. Messages are flooding Earth. Planets we've never heard of are praising the Indomitable. Eldervec has been broadcasting across the galaxy, telling everyone what happened at Vela 9. Other survivors are doing the same. Taejin turned to look at the Admiral. Will it matter? Will the Council ever accept us? I don't know, Dongsu admitted. But I know this. The galaxy can't ignore us anymore. They can't pretend we don't exist. You've forced them to see what humans really are. Over the next 2 weeks, the Indomitable underwent repairs at an unmarked station. The Council sent delegation after delegation, demanding Taejin surrender for trial. He refused each time. He had work to do. Ambassador Nari found him in his quarters one evening. Captain, I've been talking with the refugees. We're carrying people from 9 different species now. They don't want to go to council stations. They want to stay with us. Why? Because they trust us. We didn't abandon them. We risked everything to save them. She handed him a data pad. I've compiled their stories. Every species has the same tale. The council evacuated officials and wealthy citizens but left the poor behind. We saved everyone we could reach. They remember that. Tae-jin read through the stories. Each one was a small piece of evidence, proof that humans cared about more than just power or glory. They cared about people. Show these to the galaxy, he told Nari. Make sure everyone sees them. She smiled. Already did. They're spreading across every communication network. The council can't suppress them all. That night, Tae-jin received a message from Earth. It was from average citizens, thousands of them. They had recorded videos, written letters, sent their support. They told him they were proud, that he represented the best of humanity, that he should keep going. One message stood out. It was from a young girl, maybe 10 years old. She looked at the camera with serious eyes. Captain Tae-jin, my teacher says you're a hero. My mom says you're trouble. I think you're both. But I'm glad you're out there. Someone has to help people. Someone has to show that humans are good. Thank you for being that someone. Tae-jin played the message 3 times. Then he went back to the bridge. Athena, how many distress calls do we have? 47, Captain. Most from the outer rim. The council has designated them as low priority. Then we'll make them high priority. Plot a course to the nearest one. Maximum speed. The Galactic Council Citadel was the most impressive structure humans had ever seen. It floated in space at the center of the galaxy, a massive station that housed representatives from 800 species. Captain Tae-jin had only seen it in pictures. Now he was approaching it in a shuttle surrounded by council security ships, essentially a prisoner. You didn't have to come alone, Tae-jin had argued before he left the Indomitable. Yes, I did, Tae-jin replied. This is on me. I gave the orders. If there are consequences, I face them. The shuttle docked. Tae-jin stepped into a world of aliens. Beings of every shape and size filled the corridors. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange he could not tell which end was the head. They all stared at him. The human. The outlaw captain. The hero or criminal, depending on who you asked. 2 council guards escorted him to the main chamber. It was enormous. A circular room with seats rising in tiers. Representatives from hundreds of species watched him walk to the center. He felt very small and very alone. The council speaker, a being named Vareth who looked like a tree made of crystal, addressed him. Captain Tae-jin of Earth, you stand accused of violating quarantine, unauthorized military action, theft of technology, and endangering galactic peace. How do you answer? Tae-jin stood straight. I did what I did. I won't apologize for saving lives. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Vareth raised a hand for silence. The council established Earth's quarantine for good reason. Your species has a history of violence. We could not risk you spreading that violence across the galaxy. And yet, Tae-jin said, when the crash came, it was humans who fought. Where was the council when Vela 9 burned? Where were you when Meridian Station called for help? Where were your ships at Threshold Gate? We were managing a complex strategic situation, another representative said. This one was Counselor Brax, a reptilian being known for his harsh views on humans. We cannot be everywhere at once. But you could be somewhere, Tae-jin countered. You issued evacuation orders but sent no ships. You told people to flee but gave them nowhere to go. We came. We helped. If that's a crime, then I'm guilty. Ambassador Nari stood in the observer section. She had been allowed to attend, but not speak. She watched Tae-jin defend himself and felt pride. This was what humanity was. Not perfect, but trying. The prosecution began presenting evidence. Videos of the battles, reports of human weapons, analysis of the Indomitable's capabilities. They painted a picture of dangerous, unpredictable humans who could not be controlled. Then the defense began. And everything changed. Elder Vec entered the chamber. Behind him came more. Survivors from Vela 9, refugees from Meridian Station, civilians from Threshold Gate, citizens from a dozen worlds the Indomitable had saved. They filled the observer sections. Thousands of them. I request permission to speak, Vec said in his formal, translated voice. Verath looked uncomfortable. This is highly irregular. So was being left to die, Vec replied. You will hear us. The council could not refuse. Not with so many witnesses watching across the galaxy. The trial was being broadcast on every network. Billions watched. Vec spoke first. The council told us humans were monsters, that they were violent and dangerous. But when the Kresh came to kill my people, the council was not there. The humans were. They fought for us. They died for us. They saved 12,000 of my people when you saved none. Another survivor spoke, a being whose species Te-Jin did not recognize. The council evacuated the rich and powerful from our world. They left the rest of us behind. The humans came back. They risked their ship to save factory workers and farmers, people the council considered expendable. On and on it went, story after story, each one proving the same point. Humans had helped when the council had not. Councillor Brax grew angry. This is irrelevant. The law is clear. Earth violated quarantine. That is the only matter before us. Then the law is wrong, a new voice said. Admiral Dong-Su entered the chamber, along with the captains of Earth's small fleet. Behind them came something unexpected. Council military officers, commanders who had fought beside humans at Threshold Gate. One of them, a decorated general named Thex, approached the center. I fought against the Kresh for 20 years. I watched our strategies fail again and again. Then I fought beside the humans at Threshold Gate. They held a position I considered impossible to defend. They did it with one ship and absolute determination. If these are monsters, then we need more monsters. Vareth looked around the chamber. This was not going as planned. The prosecution was supposed to be simple. Humans broke the law. Humans get punished. But now it was complicated. The humans had become heroes to millions. Punishing them might cause riots. The council will adjourn to discuss this matter, Verath announced. Before he could finish, alarms screamed. The entire citadel shook. Red emergency lights flashed. Kresh fleet detected, someone shouted. They're here. They're attacking the citadel. Chaos erupted. Representatives panicked. Council security rushed to battle stations. Through the windows, Te-Jin could see them coming. Dozens of Kresh warships, larger than any he had seen before. This was not a raid. This was an assault. The Kresh were trying to destroy the heart of the galactic government. Te-Jin ran for the docking bay. The guards tried to stop him, but Admiral Dong-Su pulled rank. Let him go, we need every ship we have. Te-Jin reached his shuttle and launched immediately. He opened communications to the Indomitable. Yi-Jin, status. We're detecting the attack, Captain. Moving to engage. All human ships form up on the Indomitable. Athena, give me tactical. The AI's voice was calm despite the chaos. Kresh fleet consists of 53 heavy cruisers and the command ship Heart of Hunger. The command ship is 3 times larger than normal cruisers. Probability of victory without significant losses, 14%. Then we make our own probability, Te-Jin said. The battle began. The Council's defense fleet engaged first, but they were designed for patrol, not war. The Kresh tore through them. The Citadel's shields held, but they were weakening. If those shields failed, millions would die. The Indomitable arrived like an avenging angel. Railguns blazing, it carved through the Kresh formation. The other Earth ships followed, smaller, but no less fierce. They flew with a recklessness that terrified the Council forces and thrilled the desperate civilians watching. Hyunwoo led his fighters in a suicide run at the Heart of Hunger. This is for everyone you killed, he screamed, firing everything he had. His missiles cracked the massive ship's armor. He pulled away with meters to spare. Commander Sora coordinated with Council Marines, showing them tactics they had never considered. Boarding actions, sabotage, fighting inside enemy ships. The Council had always fought clean, formal battles. Humans fought dirty and effective. Dr. Yuna worked frantically on the Indomitable, rerouting power, finding every last bit of energy for the weapons. Kiwan, I need more. We're almost dry. I'm giving you everything, Kiwan shouted back. If I push harder, the reactor will explode. Then push harder, we die if we lose anyway. Medical Officer Yunbi treated wounded council soldiers alongside humans. She worked in blood and chaos, saving lives without caring about species. A council doctor worked beside her, following her lead. In the medical bay, there was no politics, only people who needed help. On the Citadel, Tai Jin's shuttle joined the defense. It was a small ship, barely armed, but he flew it like a fighter. Years of training and pure determination kept him alive as plasma bolts filled space around him. The Heart of Hunger moved toward the Citadel, its weapons charging for a final strike. If that ship fired, the shields would fail. The Citadel would die. Athena, Taejin called out. Can the Sunbreaker kill that ship? Uncertain, Captain. The target is significantly larger than previous uses. Success probability, 38%. What if we fired it from inside the ship? Silence. Then, that would increase probability to 91%. However, whoever delivers the weapon would not survive. Taejin looked at the Heart of Hunger. He thought about Earth, locked away for 300 years. He thought about the people he had saved. He thought about the young girl's message. Someone has to help people. I'll do it, he said. Negative. Yejin's voice cut in. You're not dying today, Captain. Hyunwoo, can you deliver a payload? Already. On it. Hyunwoo's fighter screamed toward the Heart of Hunger. Got the Sunbreaker loaded. This is gonna be my masterpiece. Hyunwoo, you'll die, Taejin shouted. Everyone dies, Captain, but not everyone gets to save millions while going out. Clear the area. This is gonna be big. Hyunwoo's fighter dove into the Heart of Hunger through a breach Sora's Marines had created. He flew through organic corridors, dodging defensive measures until he reached the core. He could feel the Kresh all around him, trying to stop him. Hey, Captain, Hyunwoo said calmly. Tell them I was the best pilot Earth ever made. You are. The best, Taejin replied, tears streaming down his face. Damn right. Firing Sunbreaker. See you all in the next life. The Heart of Hunger exploded from within. Light brighter than a star filled space. The massive Kresh ship tore apart. The shockwave destroyed 10 other Kresh cruisers. The remaining enemy ships, seeing their command destroyed, fled.